Data with Dre. In this video, you will learn how to create a field shape map using Power BI's free ArcGIS visual. You will search and view map datasets, create data tables that can join to the map dataset, and add color, labels, slicers, and tables that supplement your map. Stay tuned to see how easy mapping can be. Let's level up together.
Hello and welcome to today's video. I wanted to share how easy it was to create shape maps using the ArcGIS Power BI visual. Today we are going to visualize the counties in Ireland and display data related to the major supermarkets within those counties. So the first place we're going to start is by bringing up this ArcGIS for Power BI visual. So this visual has paid components, but there's also a free version as well. We're just going to focus on what the free version offers. So we can click on continue as a guest. And the first thing I'm going to do is go to this layers panel. Here I can search for Ireland County. And this will give me a county map for Ireland. Okay, that looks good. This is not included up here because that's Northern Ireland. So how do I know what data is available with this exact map? Well, if I hover over this and go to the ellipsis, I can click on this icon here and view the data in ArcGIS online. Just click OK. So whenever you navigate to ArcGIS Online, it'll take you to a page like this. I go to the Data tab, and this will show me all the available columns. So when you're doing mapping, you need some sort of geography point to connect to. If there's IDs in the map, I always like to use those instead of names. Names can be spelled differently. Here I see there's a county ID column, so I'll be using this. So some of these columns have to do with the actual mapping of the data itself. So I'm not going to be connecting on, things like area size or anything like that. In fact, I probably want to trim this down and just start to focus on the data that I need to bring into my own table in Excel. So I'm actually going to uncheck all of these columns and just click what I need. So I need the county ID. I need the English name and the province, and I'll hit done. So this is the information I would then copy in Excel and try to attach some data to. So I've done that here in my Excel file. So what you're seeing here is the county ID, the county and the province that was in that original data set. Now I've asked AI to help me map out some major supermarkets within Ireland, and it had created this data set for me to the best of its ability. I've been to Ireland before. I know that there's a Tesco. I've heard of SuperValu. I'm not familiar with the others, but we're going to trust that this is right. And here you can see that it's putting data on multiple lines for a particular county ID. That's going to be fine. When we do start to do the mapping, it's going to be a one-to-many relationship from the ArcGIS dataset to the dataset I have here. And then it's just going to do an aggregation on the count of store. So I've named this table Ireland Markets. I'm going to bring this into Power BI. So I'm going to open up that Excel data in Power Query. So I can click on the transform data icon, and that will bring up Power Query. I'll go new source and choose my Excel workbook. It's in this Ireland grocery store counts file. And I can select my table Ireland Markets. So here I have my table of data, and I just want to make sure that these data types are correct. These are all text, county store, number, county ID, province. Now I said I'm going to connect on county ID. I actually want to verify in the original data set, was that county ID a number column or a text column? I have to get that data type correct for it to connect correctly. So here back in the ArcGIS Online dataset, this is the table of data I'm viewing. I can actually go to the fields column and see what data type that field is. So here the county ID is actually a string. So I want to change that to a string in my Power Query before continuing on. So I'll change that to text, and now we're good to go. So I'll close and apply and bring that into the Power BI. So I have my data on the right here, and I want to connect on county ID. So I'm going to drag this into the join layer. And I'm also going to drag in the count of store into the join layer as well, because I know I'm going to want to show some data based off those aggregations of the count of store. So I can click go to join layer, and I can choose a layer that I'm going to join on. So I'm going to join on county ID. Here it's going to ask me what the join operation is. I do want to just join on those first rows only and not aggregate. Fields to append, I'm going to bring in my sum of count of store. So I did drag that into the join layer here, but I also have to choose to include that column that I've dragged in. Here I just want to filter the data. You also have the option to highlight the data, but I'm going to filter instead. And I can click on create join. So nothing's really changed yet, but I'm going to show you what you can do now that that data has been joined. So one of the things I want to do is I want to add some labels to my data. So this is the original map that was included in ArcGIS. Here is my data that I have added. So we're going to be working in this layer. This is the visible layer. So first thing, I'm going to go to labels and click on show labels and go down to the county name. You can see that county name. I'm going to enable the halo so it's a little bit easier to see. So some things that I can do is change the color of these shapes by some aggregations in my data. So if I go back to the layers and click on this icon, I can add a field here. So I'm going to choose color, and I'm going to do the sum of the color. So this is going to add a color range. This range is not really what I want to see. I do have some options to change that color if I go into the style options, and then I can choose the color ramp, and I'm going to go for blues. So that concentration of deeper blues means there's a higher sum of the count of store column. So how can I see that data? Well, I'm going to bring in a table. And this table is going to show my store and count of store. So I can see that according to the filters that I have, and I don't have any filters on right now, there's 517 major supermarkets throughout all of Ireland. So another slicer that would be good to see is the counties. So if I click on this slicer and add the county names, now I can filter down to a particular county. It's going to zoom in, and it's going to show me the count of stores within that county. Here we can check out Cavan and County Clare and Cork. So Cork has 61 total. So what options do we have for coloring the shapes? Well, anything that was in my original dataset or anything that was in that ArcGIS Online dataset. So I'm going to unfilter this and go back to my layers panel. So instead of coloring on the count of store, I'm going to color on province instead. So I can select that in my data. And now you can see that it is coloring by province. So I can see that clearly by the colors, there's 4 provinces here. Now we're not getting the names. You can only show one label at a time. If we look back at our data, we can see that there was indeed 4 provinces related to those counties. Now, I don't recommend putting aggregations inside of the label name because these will not update unless you navigate away from the page and then go back to the page. So it's not an ideal way to show values, which is why it's nice to include a table on the side here where you're getting that dynamic sum of the count of store displayed in a table. But let's say that I wanted to display the province name and the county name. Well, that can be done if I add a measure. So there's probably two ways to do this. You can do it in a measure or a calculated column. I'm going to do it in a measure. So I just want to add a new measure. And the name of this measure will be province, county. And that's going to equal, because I'm using a measure, I need to use max, and I'm going to reference the Ireland markets. That's going to be province. And I want to do a line break, and how we can do that in Power BI is use the uni character. And I know that that number needs to be 10 for a line break. And then I'm going to go ahead and reference the max again of the data and choose my county name. So this measure is going to give me my province and county name together. So what I want to do is then click back onto my map visual and drag this into the join layer. Now, whenever I do that, I do need to go back to my data set and click on the analysis icon and then add this column in the fields to append. So I'll click on province county and update my join. And now back in the layers panel, I can go to the layer properties, and in labels, I'm going to choose that measure that I've added. Now we're going to get the province and the county together. So maybe another useful thing I can do is also drag into the slicer the province above the county name. And I'll get a nice little hierarchy there where I can click into a province of, let's say, Munster, and then see County Clare or Kerry or any of the data associated with the province of Munster. So that's how you can create a quick shape map in Power BI using the ArcGIS visual. Now, anybody who's done mapping for a business, you're probably not going to want to stop here. You're going to want to do multiple layers. And can this support multiple layers? Yes, it can. You can only see one layer at a time for shape maps, so it's something you would turn off and on. Now, if you also want to be able to plot circles, or let's say the actual store locations, this would be possible too, but it's out of scope for this video. But if you want to see how to plot points on top of a shape, this can definitely be done within the free version of ArcGIS Online. If I get enough requests to do so, I will show that video as well.
Mission completed.